section on skeletal system, we would talk about two important girdles, the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle. As we have understood, pectoral and pelvic girdle are part of the appendicular skeletal system. So what happens under the pectoral girdle? Humerus, which is the longest bone of the upper extremities, join in the glenoidal cavity in the pectoral girdle. So pectoral girdle has two bones, clavicle and scapula. So clavicle is the bone that connects to the scapula, and the shape is important. Scapula is a triangular shape structure with a sharp ridge and has a triangular body. However, the end where it projects in is known as acromion process. So acromion is another region where it actually joins in. So the end of the spine projects in a flat area, and this flat area is actually expanded, which is known as acromion. Then the process, this whole process articulates what? It articulates the clavicle, and as it articulates the clavicle, there is a cavity which is the interior part, which is known as coracoid process, where the tendons attach to the muscle. And this coracoid process is the process where the tendons attach to the muscle and the scapula meets with the clavicle. So the region where clavicle the scapula meets with the clavicle. Scapula is the shoulder bone, right? So the shoulder bone meets with the clavicle is the region which is known as coracoid process. The main function of this whole pectoral girdle is to provide a point of attachment for numerous muscles that help us smoother movement of the shoulders, of the elbows, and therefore pelvic girdle is important. Similar to the upper four limb sections where you have the pectoral girdle, in the hip region it's the pelvic girdle. So pelvic girdle, it is also known as the name suggests, it is also known as the hip girdle. This hip girdle has two coaxial bones. Now these two coaxial bones actually are called as the ossa coex. They are called as the ossa coex, and they are also known as innominate bones. Now each of these coaxial bones have three components, ilium, ischium and pubis. So you have ilium, and then is the ischium, and finally is the region of pubis. So pubis is the region which is inner and small. Ischium is the area which is on the lower side and is relatively elongated. And then there is ilium, which is shorter and straighter. So it is short and straight in nature. Now there is a depression which is created, and this depression is known as acetabulum. So in the case of pectoral girdle, there was the depression which was created, and that was the acromion. Here it is known as the acetabulum. Now the whole idea of the pelvic girdle is it supports the weight of the body from the vertebral column. So from the vertebral column, the weight of the body is supported by it. It also supports the lower organs, which are mainly the reproductive organs, the urinary system, and in the case of females, the developing embryo is given support by the pelvic girdle. So in this section, we have understood the key components of the pectoral and the pelvic girdle. If you have any questions, please feel free to post those in the comment section, and we'll be more than happy to resolve those. Also, the practice questions for the same are available in the NEET link given below. So do practice those for better understanding.